that. We're back in the old space for one video. I'm leaving like the day this video will go up, so like don't get used to this again. So I saw a nice handful of shows in 2021, but because I went on my very long hiatus, I kind of didn't review any of them, and I wanted to rectify that. Of course, I'm going to do some full reviews later down the line, but I wanted to talk about every single show that I saw. But then I realised if you talk about every single show you saw, Ellie, you are going to have a 30-minute video. And then I thought of the ingenious idea, let's speedrun it. Because, like, let's be honest, my channel brand is chaos. It has always been chaos, and it will forever be chaos. So, this is chaos. Some quick ground rules, because of course we need them. I have to talk about every single show I saw. I cannot skip over them. I have to talk about them in a decent amount of detail. So, let's say about 3 critiques. And if I don't do all 12 shows before this timer runs out, I'll get punished somehow. I don't know. I haven't thought that far ahead yet. Yeah. Let's get on with this. I have 10 minutes, but let's. Oh my god, I haven't done this in a while. But you haven't seen my face before. Hi, I'm Ellie. I talk about theatre. If you want to hear someone talk about theatre, hi, I make YouTube videos so why don't you subscribe and like this video if you haven't already. I haven't done that in so long. Alright, I hope you're ready, because there's no going back from this. Let's go. First saw of the year I saw was Amelie. I saw Amelie on the 20th of May, and I also saw it later, just before it closed on the 18th of September. And honestly, I've spoken before how much I love Amelie. It's such a interesting show. It's so whimsical and beautiful. The way that they use the acting musicians in it, the absolute fantastic performance from Audrey Besson as Amelie. She literally is Amelie on that stage. It is incredible. It's a show that I really want them to bring back, because I think every time that they do it, it's just so elevating. It makes me feel so good. Okay, next one, Heathers. Heathers is a classic. Heathers won't go away for some reason. It keeps coming back. It's like it's like a force that you can't hold back. You push it back and it comes. It's like it. It's like every 21 years, Heathers just pops around and just goes, hi, I'm back. But yeah, I really enjoyed the show. I think the casting this time was fantastic. Christina Bennington, was it? She was one of the greatest Veronicas I've ever seen. And I really like how I watched it, and I was just like, because I'd done that Veronica video like a couple of months before, I was just like thinking like, oh, wow, how interesting is it that this is completely different to everyone before as well. I've got to do a sequel to that one. I'm running out of time. Next one, Back to the Future. Back to the Future surprised me. I thought it was going to be, just this, like, okay theatre experience, probably with some cool effects. But I found myself really engaged with it. I thought the music was really fun. I thought it perfectly encapsulated the vibe of the film. And some of the special effects that they did were just incredible. Like, I knew I was going to be wowed by it, but it really felt like they just kept pushing it, seeing how far they could go. There's something they do at the end of the show, which I'm not going to spoil, but it is the most incredible thing I've seen on a stage ever. And that's all I'm going to say on that, because I am running out of time as well. Oh god, this is a lot harder than I thought. Oh no, I've got to talk about Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cinderella. Okay, so when I first heard the soundtrack to Cinderella, I was a bit like, oh, I'm probably not going to like this. But, I love Carrie Hope Fletcher. I'm really excited to give this show a chance. Okay, what I will say about the show is that visually, I love everything. The costumes are so lavish and beautiful. The sets are so incredible and well thought out. The staging's really good. The way that they stage Bad Cinderella, something that I'm not really a fan of personally, is really fun. And I really like how it's like this angry mob coming to get her. I know there's some technical difficulties, but if you want to watch it, they did it at West End Live. And I think, the effect still stands. It's quite cool on stage. I just didn't really like the actual musical. I feel like Cinderella is a story that's been told so many times that you kind of have to find a new angle on it. and I felt like they had about 50 really good ideas for a new Cinderella story, but did all of them instead of just picking one. There were so many like really cool ideas in there. Like they do a horror sequence, and I was like, yes, why don't we do like a horror Cinderella where she like completely messes it up? Like, or like doing the town and telling a story about capitalism. It doesn't really go far enough on a lot of these details that I'd like to see it. For the most part, most people go see it will just be like, this is a good piece of theatre. Like the acting's good, staging's good. Like there's enough good things in there for you to like bite your teeth into. But I don't know. I felt really disappointed by it, and I've spoken way too long. I'm doing a full review on this one. Don't worry. I will talk about that. I saw Amelie again at this point. I've already spoken about that. Really good, Amelie. There you go. Oh my god, I have 5 last 5 years. So last 5 years was a show that I had tickets to in like March of 2020, and we all know how that went. And I finally got to see it in September of 2021, and it was really good. I felt like it probably would have worked better in the smaller theatre that I would have seen it in before, but still, it's really nice that we finally get this show in the West End, even if it was for such a short period. It was such a really nicely thought out production. I really liked how they kind of played the instruments for each other, and like that kind of added like a really nice new dynamic to it. And I love how we can kind of take these shows and give them new dynamics. That's my favorite thing about revivals and like new versions of shows. You know, it's really nice. I thought it was a really good production, and you know, last 5 years is just classic, and the actors in it were really good. I'm running out of time. Phantom of the Opera. Now this is an interesting one. I got invited to the 35th anniversary gala performance of Phantom of the Opera. If you had told me that I would be there a year ago, I would have like laughed in your face because I wouldn't have believed you. But I was so lucky to be invited. It was this lovely thing all set up by Raw PR. We had like a pre-show reception in like this really cool hotel, and like people were there, and I saw Amy Lovett, and I was just like, oh my god, it's Amy Lovett, and I saw the Vivian, and I was like, oh my god, it's the Vivian. But the actual show, you know, they have kind of taken away some like really nice elements that I feel like we definitely should mention. You know, I think it is a shame that they've cut the orchestra in half, but for the most part, the show still holds up really well. It's Phantom, of course it is. You know, it's one of the most classic musicals of all time. Is it, you know, a show designed for me? Maybe not. Maybe not. You know, I can appreciate that. And I can also appreciate that it's a good show altogether, and I can also appreciate that I'm running out of time. Really good performances from the leads, especially insert her name here because I have forgotten, but she's really good as Christine. I'm running out of time. Okay, but Phantom of the Opera, really good. You know, it's the first time I've ever seen it, and to see it in that way was just incredible. I mean, you all sang Happy Birthday to Phantom at the end, and it was really cool. Okay, Wuthering Heights. Wuthering Heights was a play that I saw because my uni were like, well, you have to see a play, and I was like, okay. So I saw Wuthering Heights, and I was, you know, thoroughly surprised. I thought it was a really strong production. You know, they had a lot of things in it that were really elevated. They really thought it's through. It was an Emma Rice production. I really liked how they staged a lot of it with like these ladders and puppets, and you know, they really thought creatively about this story that's quite long that they had to condense into like 2 hours. I will say because of that, the first act did drag on a little bit. It was like an hour and a half first act, and there was so much that they kind of had to like push in there. But they allow you to follow the story really well with loads of chalkboards and loads of really cool ideas. I'm running out of time. It's really good. If it comes near you, because I think it's going to the National soon, I would recommend it. Okay, Come From Away, greatest show of all time. Literally amazing. I went to see it for the first time in like almost a year, and I was just blown away again because it's literally my favourite show, and it's amazing. I've already spoken in depth about Come From Away. It's literally incredible. The staging, the acting, the story, it is just literally fireworks on stage. It's the greatest thing of all time. Addams Family. I really like the Addams Family, but I wasn't so engaged with this version of it. I more knew the Broadway version. So it was a bit weird to go and see it, and then suddenly they're not doing the Morticia song, and suddenly they're singing "Keep Your Secrets," and I'm just like, what? Where's the song where he sings about his wife? But you know, it was a solid tour production. I really enjoyed it. I think, you know, not every single show needs to be the level of Come From Away and just like absolute blowing your ass off. You know, it's a fun show. I think they get the comedy right. My only like real gripe with it were, I think some of the staging was a bit weird because they have to like tour this set, and I'm running out of time massively because I have to tour this set, and some of the story elements maybe being a bit loose on the actual original characters. I feel like, yeah, bring it on, bring it on. This was another performance I was invited to their press night. I think it's so sad that the show is closing so early because it is amazing. The dances and like the acrobatics of it is really fun. The story's really easy to follow, and it's got some great songs written by Lin Miranda and Amanda Green, and a book by Jeff Whitty, who's really really clever. Okay, Ocean at the End of the Lane. I could speak for ages about Ocean at the End of the Lane, but I am running out of time. It is incredible. It made me feel like a child again, and yeah, it was really really good. It's just this really creative story, and the way that they stage it, I thought there was no way they were going to do it, but they did it, and it was so good. Okay, finally, Spring Awakening. Spring Awakening is such a good story that no matter how you staged it, it would be good. There were a couple of elements that I thought, you know, could have been touched up. They could have got closer to the teen angst, but overall, it was a fun version of the thing that had a nice punch to it, especially the song Totally Fucked, which was so good, and I'm done. That was so stressful. That was so stressful. I think I owe most of those shows a full review now. That was so chaotic, but I like talking about theatre, so I guess I like that. So that's the video. I'll be coming back in the next couple of weeks reviewing, giving full reviews for Spring Awakening, Cinderella, a couple other shows here and there. But yeah, it's really nice to be back, and it's really nice to be growing grey hairs from setting myself challenges like this. But if you did enjoy this video, please consider subscribing. You've got loads of content coming your way. I'm really glad to be back. It's nice. I won't be back on this set again, but I'll be back in whatever setup I can manage up north. I'll see you next time. Bye.